India didn't bow to Trump's tariff threat. The full story of a silent victory. July 9th was no ordinary day for India. It was the day when the president of the world's most powerful economy, Donald Trump, had set a fresh deadline in his ongoing trade war. He had made it clear, if India didn't strike a deal, the hammer of tariffs would surely fall. But as the day passed, there was no sign of India backing down, and no further threats from the US either. There was silence, but behind that silence was a brilliantly calculated move by India. The question arises, was it India's strength, or was there something else that made even a president as aggressive as Trump pause and reconsider? That's the mystery that has turned the world's attention toward India. And now, this story is no longer just about a trade deal, but about strategy, patience, and the sharpness of Indian diplomacy. Today, we'll dive deep into this very topic. But before we begin, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update from us. Now, let's begin today's discussion without any delay. In early 2025, when Donald Trump boldly declared that he would strike 90 deals in 90 days, it seemed like the world was once again heading back into an era of pressure and intimidation politics. For countries like Europe, Japan, and South Korea, it was a loud wake-up call. And India? India too was in his crosshairs. After all, the US imports more pharmaceuticals, textiles, and digital services from India than almost anywhere else. But this time, India played a different game. Instead of reacting with panic or haste, it applied the lessons learned from past experiences. India didn't openly confront Trump, nor did it fully submit. Hidden within this approach was a deeper strategy. India deliberately kept the US entangled in prolonged talks, buying time to shape the right circumstances and build leverage. Rather than direct confrontation, India chose dialogue. But that dialogue unfolded on India's terms. No rush, no fear, no unnecessary public statements. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal went to Washington and made it clear. India was open to talks, but only on its own conditions. India didn't take Trump's deadline diplomacy lightly, but it didn't fall for the pressure either. That balance of firmness without provocation is what set India apart from the rest, and it was this diplomatic maturity that not only shielded India from tariff threats but also elevated its image globally.
India's strategy rested firmly on two strong pillars: patience and preparation. India knew that a leader like Trump only respects the language of strength, but it also understood that a direct confrontation could be damaging. So, instead of picking a fight, India kept sending delegations, held virtual meetings, and ensured that in every interaction, its stance remained crystal clear. We want a deal, but we will not bend. Throughout this period, India maintained composure. No provocative statements, no reactionary moves. This was the result of a mature and well-calculated approach that allowed India to firmly present its case, without noise, without drama. And the results were visible. After the July 9 deadline, Trump sent warning letters to countries like Japan, Europe, and South Korea. But India? No such letter was issued, despite the fact that India is one of the nations with which the US has a major trade deficit. Was that a coincidence? Absolutely not. It was a direct outcome of India's clever diplomacy and strategic balance. India kept the US engaged in talks and silently protected itself from tariffs. This quiet but calculated move proved that even a calm and composed nation can stand strong in front of an aggressive leader. But that doesn't mean the threat of tariffs has completely disappeared. Trump has repeatedly mentioned the possibility of taxing the pharma sector. He even threatened to impose a 200% tariff on pharmaceutical products. Had that happened, India would have faced losses worth billions because it is the largest supplier of generic medicines to the US. Still, there was no threat made to India. Why? Because Trump knows that even a small symbolic victory with India could serve him well in domestic politics. And India, fully aware of this, is skillfully steering the talks in a direction that protects its interests while also offering Trump enough of a win to save face. Trump had to face firm rejections from other major allies. Japan outright refused to reopen the 2020 trade deal. South Korea made it clear that unless the US offered concessions first, there would be no progress. And Europe dismissed Trump's threats as nothing more than political theatrics. In such a scenario, it was only India that didn't shut the door on dialogue. And that's exactly where India's strategy outsmarted the rest. The tough stance from other countries forced Trump to turn toward India because he needed at least one success story to showcase on his.
Rajesh Agrawal, the Special Secretary and India's chief negotiator for the India-US trade deal, stated clearly they aim to finalize the first phase of the agreement by September or October. Before that, the focus is on finalizing an interim trade agreement. In this process, India will need to negotiate carefully across sectors like dairy, agriculture, and pharma. But with one non-negotiable, self-reliance will not be compromised. At every step, India is trading cautiously, not moving too fast but not falling behind either. According to government sources, another Indian delegation is soon headed to the US for face-to-face negotiations. In addition, several virtual meetings have already taken place over the past few weeks. The goal? To assure the US that India is open to a deal, but only on its own terms. This firm yet open approach is what's drawing Trump in, especially now that other countries have walked away from the table. At a time when Trump's options are shrinking, India's balanced diplomacy gives it a unique and elevated position on the global stage. Trump has now set a new deadline, August 1. But he also mentioned that this deadline isn't 100% firm, and that works in India's favor. Why? Because it means India now has more time to continue negotiations without bowing down. If India manages to cross this soft deadline as well, and Trump still issues no threats, it will mark India's second major diplomatic victory. This won't just be about trade, it will be an opportunity to show the world that India can now play a decisive and influential role in the strategic games of global powers. This entire episode has revealed a new face to the world, an India that does not fear threats and does not make decisions under pressure. An India that prioritizes dialogue but refuses to compromise on self-respect. This is the same India that didn't bend even in front of a leader like Trump. Through patience, diplomacy, and strategic thinking, India has proven that in the 21st century, power doesn't lie only in military strength or economic might.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.